What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them.
Things I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight. Are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right. But I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night.
What to do if an air...
Under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. But they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts. So I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. We're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back up. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong.
Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. I have no idea as to why there was buffering and all that goodness. I ran a speed test while I was doing all of that, and the speed test came back. We're good. We got 60 meg both down and up, so we're good. It must have been it had to have been on YouTube's end. So, anywho, and I don't know if that was just receiving or what, but we're here to the chagrin of many. I like it like that. I always took great pleasure in being a pain in the ass. Really did. I still do. Don't let me kid you. I still do. It's a good skill set to have. I mean, there are times being a pain in the ass or simply being an asshole is the top skill you can have for the moment. But that's a different subject, different time. We're here to talk about the nonsense that happens to be going on in the world today. Holy cow is about all I can say. And then we got the Pentagon. I don't know, somebody's smoking some serious hopium in the Pentagon. And, shit, I mean, 51 years old, and I have never ran across anything remotely as good as the stuff these people must be smoking. Holy cow. Man, I have had a bit of concern over our inability to be able to fight a war. Because everything to do so in our country has deteriorated on a level that's very concerning. Not only have we lowered the requirements to get into the military, but we lowered what they had to do to be in the military. We allowed all kinds of nonsense to essentially take over the military. I mean, come on. And now it looks like the Pied Piper's about ready to play his tune. That probably didn't fit here, but go with it anyway. I don't know, man. I think Russia would give us a good fight. I can't say with 100% certainty that we'd come out on top of that. China, see, the problem with China is you've got not only the technology, which they have a lot of, but the amount of troops and not only the level that they are trained to, but their intensity. Intensity means a lot. When I think of some of the strongest fighters on the earth, I think of folks like, well, to be quite honest, North Korea. Rick with Average Joe Preparedness had mentioned about the Israeli military and how they are very feared. I absolutely agree. They are very feared, with good reason. China's military, the PLA, train with every bit as much intensity as what the Israelis and North Koreans do. I don't think that the Russians quite train on the same level of intensity, but I think they're just a little bit under. And that's a very important factor when you're going into combat, because those that have that edge will always be able to outperform. There's a lot less hesitation. It's just when you've got that edge, you're definitely going to be over top of somebody that doesn't. But what's coming out of the Pentagon this evening is concerning on a level much, much higher than all that. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that as a nation, you don't want to come out as weak. I get that. I get that. But you also don't want to be foolish, right? Sometimes you got to be careful on what kind of cards you try to con the others into thinking you have in your hand, because they might call your bluff. And I think we may be very close to that situation here. An article came out a little bit ago. In fact, I was getting ready to kind of go through stuff and figure out what it was I was going to, do the show with tonight as far as titling it and whatnot. Because I normally pick, like, the biggest thing or whatever, And as I was going through new news notifications, I ran across this article, and I'm like, oh, goodness. I put it in the title the same way the headlines got it. U.S. has enough weapons for Israel, Ukraine, and more, says the Pentagon. Now, these are the same cats that are just telling you the opposite last week. Maybe they're bipolar. I don't know. It said Washington can meet all of the West Jerusalem's requests for weapons, equipment, and ammunition while continuing to support Kiev, a Pentagon spokeswoman told reporters on Monday. Well, was this spokeswoman born as a male? I mean, just for reference. We are able to continue our support both to Ukraine, Israel, and maintain our own global readiness, a senior Defense Department official said in a background briefing. While we are providing and will continue to provide a significant amount of support to Ukraine, we're careful about ensuring we can also respond to other crises and contingencies, support other partners, and maintain our own military readiness and our ability to support others, the official later added. Because, we've got this really kick-ass ability to watch a balloon go across our country and lie to our populace about what it is and what it's about and everything. And I just, I got nothing when it comes to their nonsense of doing that stuff. I don't understand it. I don't know. Goes on to say the U.S. has been able to meet every, I don't know if it's supposed to be twice, but I said it like it's written, every request that our Israeli counterparts have made, and anticipate to see continual delivery on some of those requests, the official also said. While declining to specifics, the spokesperson said this does apply to the Iron Dome systems and other air defenses. The Pentagon is working as fast as possible to expedite the delivery of critically needed ammunition and equipment, as well as contacting military contractors to expedite pending Israeli orders. When reporters voiced concerns about how U.S. weapons might be used, the Pentagon officials said there were robust end-use monitoring practices and procedures in place, and that the U.S. was in constant dialogue with the Israelis about their operational plans. U.S. cargo planes have already begun landing in Israel, even as the government in West Jerusalem announced a total siege of Gaza in reprisal for Hamas incursions that began on Saturday. Then goes into the history and all that. But now I didn't get a chance to watch Monkey Works, and I wanted to. And sorry, bro, you got booted out so I could watch Average Joe Preparedness. It is what it is. I'll try to catch up on your show. Because I wanted to see what he had to say about air traffic and in light of everything going on. So I will catch that at some point, maybe tomorrow morning. But he did. He got bumped for average Joe preparedness. I'll watch that guy's video ahead of anybody else's, I think. Why? Because think of everything you think of with a YouTube prepper channel. Now flip it upside down. That's average Joe preparedness. Not here for the money, not here for the profit. He's here to help. That's all. No ulterior motives, no sponsors, no nothing. He just wants to help. We really need to be watching this. I mean, with the utmost attention. Because this is one of the powder kegs that, when I say go south, I mean it could really go south. And in a hurry. As you know, I'm sure that Israel is part of NATO. Part of the United Nations. I don't know how that is going to shake out. I've been tossing that up around in my head a little bit because technically, we should already, as far as I know, be at war with Hamas, along with the rest of NATO. But we're not. So I'm not quite sure. Also keep in mind that this should go without saying, but it's still very fresh. There hasn't been that much time yet. It's still very fresh in the timeline of how wars go. We could very well see NATO involvement in the coming days. I don't know. Hezbollah is saying they want to get involved. I'm sure, whether officially or unofficially, Iran will help and support. I'm not so sure that Russia and China won't chip in. I think what is going to make the difference as to whether or not Russia and China get involved is where Israel goes from here. I think that's going to be a very big defining factor. Where Israel goes from here and just how much of a heavy hand they put on the Gaza Strip. If there, and I'm sure there will be, but whether or not it's known could be a different story. I'm sure there'll be a lot of civilian casualties with that operation. And, of course, when that happens, that's going to fire up the others even more. And it's just going to be back and forth. To the point that I do think this could very well be a conflict that gets out of hand. Reason why I feel that way so much about this particular conflict above any of the others is because we all know that it was coming sooner or later between Israel and Iran. Iran has been spending their time and money diligently to build up their weapons systems. Now, word on the street is that they have a functioning hypersonic weapon. Word on the street. They have made little mention of it, but there's other sources that confirm it. Now, just because they may have one that works or capable of working, it doesn't mean that they've got a whole line of them. We don't know, and there's simply no way to know. On top of that, we already know that Russia and China has hypersonic missiles, and if they get involved, you better well bet they're going to be helping Iran out with some. Why do I keep bringing up Iran? Now, a lot of people I know are going to say, well, because of, no. I'm not saying that Iran doesn't help out Hamas, because they clearly do. Clearly help out Hezbollah. So far, they have claimed no involvement on any level. Now, others have made the claims that even as recent as I think it was Monday, and I don't mean like as in today, I mean like last week, there were Iranian individuals that were meeting with individuals from Hamas and talking about this mission. I am not even gonna try to pretend that I'm gonna take a guess as to whether or not the information we're getting is accurate or not. I'm gonna continue it as far as looking at it with the mindset that I don't know. And so I'm going to look at it from as many different angles as I can, throw as many different possibilities at it, and see what I come up with. I really do think that Israel's next step is going to be what sets the course. If Israel comes down hard enough on the Gaza Strip, and Iran decides to take a front seat level of involvement, then it's on. It is on like Donkey Kong. But not going to go very well. I think Russia tolerates Israel, and I think that's really about the best way to say it. I think Russia tolerates Israel. China don't give two shits about Israel. Not even a little bit. They don't even pretend. So we'll see. I commonly war game anything that I can get my mind around. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy thinking. I enjoy practicing and working that gray matter heavily. And, I'd sit there and I'd think about Scripture, and I would think about, the United States and Canada and Mexico, and I'm sitting there thinking, is there any way that maybe so many are off on where, what, and when? And even as of somewhat recent, I'd sit there and think about, well, could it be that China could come from the south through Mexico and Russia could come, or, vice versa? And, it really doesn't, it really doesn't fit well, I don't think. And, the entire time I'm looking over at the Middle East, and I'm like, I'm just not seeing the fire. I'm seeing the fire. And we might want to pay close attention to it. Once again, I mentioned this many, many times. Snip 4. I'm not a real big fan of the guy. He's a complete wacko. But before he went complete wacko, he wasn't too bad. And he had made a playlist of videos talking about a man by the name of John Teeter. Now, I think Snip has a new channel. I guess he lost his old channel. I don't know. But you can put in Snip 4, JSNIP 4, and you'll find his new channel. And he's got a playlist on his channel. You'll see the name John Teeter. I highly, and I mean highly, recommend you listen to, I believe it's 4 parts. You listen to all 4 parts in its entirety, and that you listen close. Now, I know it sounds like an awful bizarre claim that some dude came here from a different time, and I get it. I get it. Listen to all 4 parts thoroughly and closely, and put the magic stuff out of your mind for a moment, because it seems magic to me. I don't know how much I buy that somebody time traveled back and then gave us this information. I don't know that I buy it. But I'm asking to listen to the information, because I'll tell you what, my head keeps going back to that. Why? You listen to all 4 parts, you'll see why. There is so many points that this guy hit just dead on. And I mean, it's like just following the timeline of what this guy says is going to happen, right? And check it out. JSNIP 4 did an incredible job at covering what this man had to say. That's why I'm sending you there instead of like anywhere, I don't know, where this guy directly posted, which I honestly don't know where. So, but check that out. I highly recommend it. Howdy, guys. Oh, I hear ya. I hear ya. Oh, it's all nuts. You know, like I say, I don't stand behind any type of violence. I think it's wholly unnecessary. I mean, it seems like something that rich men that aren't gonna have to go fight themselves dream up so that they can make more money. I mean, I know that it gets much more involved than that, especially when you're dealing with these smaller Arab countries and stuff like that. It goes much deeper than that, but and I think all the antagonists within our government that just keep poking all of these international situations and trying to prod them into something bigger, and to me that doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, Richmond, north of Richmond, yep, the same folks. Oh man. Anyway, now Hamas is threatening to kill hostages, and that's if they continue to do airstrikes. I'm sure that the same rings true if they go into Gaza Strip and just start wiping stuff out. I'm pretty sure they're going to start taking out hostages. So, how many hostages do they have? Let's see. Here it says a spokeswoman for the group, Musa Abu Marzouk, told the Arabic news outlet Al Gad TV that it had over 100 captives, including high-ranking Israeli officers. Another Palestinian group, Islamic Jihad, said on Sunday that it had at least 30 hostages as well. So, we're looking, at least from the claimed numbers, somewhere around about 130 or a little north. Let's see. And this is how they do things, and it pisses me off to no end. Right here, in previous airstrikes against Gaza, Israel had used the so-called roof-knocking technique, in which non-explosives are dropped onto a targeted civilian home. Dropped. No, it's like an unactivated missile that they shoot the damn building. Dropped my ass. Anyway, to warn civilians in residential towers to get out before their building was bombed. Israel Defense Forces skipped that step on Monday, launching a series of strikes on Gaza that have killed at least 560 people, according to the local authorities. And this is going to continue. And it is going to, in my opinion, this one's going to escalate. You know, I come out hard against fear-mongering and stuff like that. And the reason why is the whole boy who called wolf thing, you know? And, you know, you get whipped around by all these different YouTube channels and mainstream media if you so partake. People are largely desensitized to a lot of stuff. Not only desensitized, but, you know, some people are cynical over it at this point because of all the lies that have been told about every little thing so that we can get people to click on our videos. It's nonsense. This is one to be worried about. I'm going to say that straight up. And I mean much more so on any level that I've ever been concerned of conflict. Way, way more. I don't know. I think this is going to spiral quick. Really quick. Of course, Israeli military in control of the Gaza border says it's reasserted full control over communities on the Gaza border 2 days after Hamas' large-scale assault, but has warned that some accounted for militants may still be on Israeli territory. Yeah, apparently there's still militants just walking around. We are in control of the settlements, Daniel Hagari, a spokesperson for the Israel Defense Forces, said in a statement on Monday. It added the fighting between Israeli troops and Palestinian militants had become isolated, but that some Hamas militants may still be at large. He also said, "We are now carrying out searches in all of the communities and clearing the area." Earlier on Monday, the IDF said that there were about 8 areas of southern Israel in which its armed forces were still fighting Palestinian militants. This includes Be'eri, I don't know if that's how you say it or not, a settlement that was infiltrated by around 70 fighters overnight, possibly with the use of a tunnel to breach the border. At least 900 people are reported to have been killed in Israel following the surprise attack, so the number has gone up. I wanted to make sure to read that part of it. The last I had mentioned, I believe, was 700 or so. So they have raised that number. I said earlier that Hezbollah had vowed retaliation, and we'll read this article. Let me have a sip of coffee and oh, I didn't even grab my coffee. Oh, that is a party foul like no other. All right, that you know what that means, right? Thank you, Fire Marshal Bill, if you're listening. I'm looking for flames, man. Flames. Looking for, the old school flames, like on the old, old cars. I'm trying to think of one. I mean, yeah, of course, 57 Chevy, stuff like that, but I can't think there's other cars that even look so much meaner with that old school flame paint job. And that's the kind of paint job I want on the airplane I'm working on. I am doing up a doozy. It's, oh my goodness. It's scrumptious so far. Anyway, you are going to have to take a look at my ass for a moment because I am not going the rest of this show without my coffee. I apologize, but I'm getting up to go get it. I shall return. Pardon me, but we are not going to discuss the apocalypse without coffee. Bullshit. That's when I give up. That is when I give up. Like, oh, no coffee? I'll just take my ass out. Take me out. Ah. Coffee. That's some good coffee. I am a coffee snob. No, it's not Starbucks, but it's got to be Colombian. Seems like something else good comes from Colombia. I can't remember what that might be. Oh, actually, there's a couple of good things. A couple other good things come from Colombia, come to think of it. Shirts. They make awesome shirts, right? Say Columbia on it, right? That's right. Jeez. Anyway. The clothing line Columbia, it was a joke. Because, like, the clothing line Columbia is probably made, like, in Vietnam or something. So, you know. False advertisement. Let's see. Hezbollah vows retaliation after a member's death in Israeli strike, says media. Says here, Lebanon-based Shiite militant group Hezbollah said on Monday that it would respond to Israeli strikes targeting its facilities amid a recent escalation, local media outlets have reported. The militants also confirmed the death of at least one of their fighters in the attacks. The group told Lebanon's Al Jadid TV that it would respond to the shelling of the Ait al-Shab area in the south of the country in accordance with the rules of deterrence that it has imposed without clarifying what exact measures it planned to take. Several local news outlets have reported that Israel is continuing to strike southern Lebanon, adding that 2 Hezbollah fighters might have been killed in the attacks. According to the Israeli media, a number of rockets were fired from Lebanon at Israel on Monday evening, but they resulted in no injuries. West Jerusalem has confirmed what it called a fire exchange at the border with Lebanon and issued restrictions to the residents of towns in northern Israel, the local media reported. Businesses in the area can only remain open if they have immediate access to bomb shelters, and gatherings are restricted to 30 people outdoors and 300 people indoors. The Israeli military's Home Front Command said, adding that public beaches are closed altogether. The measures are to stay in place until Tuesday evening, the media reported, adding that they are likely to be extended. The Hezbollah statement comes amid the biggest conflict. Well, then goes into the history of everything going on. So, absolutely crazy. coffee, coffee, coffee. Oh, man. It is probably going to get a little stupid here quick. Military operation will take a long time, says Israel. Says Israel will never forgive this weekend's attack by Hamas and will take a long time to deal with the terrorist threat, Foreign Minister Eli Cohen said on Monday. It will take time. It will not take a few days. It will take a long time, Cohen said during a video-linked press conference from his office in Jerusalem, adding that such inhuman terrorists and monsters cannot be allowed to threaten Israel, the region, and the world. Cohen called Hamas the proxy of Iran and accused the militant Palestinian group of carrying out a historical massacre that the world will not forget. According to Israeli authorities, more than 700 of their citizens have been killed since Saturday. And like I said, that was 900 in the one article I read. So, and it's going to go into all the history and all that stuff. But they're looking at what appears to me at a full-blown conflict as far as dealing with probably Iran specifically. So I'm sure they'll probably deal with Lebanon and others as well. But so the EU had came out and said that they were going to pull all the aid for Palestine. They weren't going to send any more aid. And I know when I read the headline, I didn't read the article or nothing. Different article than this one. I thought, man, that's kind of bullshit, because there's a whole lot of innocent people there that are going to suffer as a result. You know, they always talk about how they don't want civilian casualties, they don't want civilians affected by, and that's the biggest bullshit lie. They will absolutely target the civilians, and the reason why they will target the civilians is because it is much more pressure on the government of that nation if the civilians are demanding them stop because of themselves being slaughtered. But I'm telling you, if there's any one of these that have an absolute opportunity to get stupid quick, it's this one here. But I just thought it was kind of bullshit to stop helping the people that need the help. I don't know. It's like we pick and choose in all of these situations, and it's mind-blowing to me. But nonetheless, they had changed course on that, and the article says European Union will not suspend the aid payments to the Palestinian Authority, its foreign policy chief Joseph Borrell said on Monday evening, contradicting an earlier announcement by Enlargement Commissioner Oliver Varhelyi. The review of the EU's assistance for Palestine announced by the European Commission will not suspend the due payments, Borrell said in a statement, adding that this would have amounted to punishing all the Palestinian people, damaged the EU interest in the region, and only further emboldened terrorists. And I agree with absolutely every one of those counts. The more that the average civilian suffers, the more that they're going to be willing to fight. It's a war of escalation is what it is. Now, am I saying, Israel shouldn't do nothing to defend themselves? Well, okay. Israel's not defending itself right now. Israel is attacking. There's a difference, okay? Now, I am not saying that you don't have to have an attack, in order to stop from things happening later on down the road. But that does not include going and taking over an entire area which is largely civilians. Nah. And I have a feeling that the death tolls from these operations are going to be astonishing. And I'm talking civilian death tolls, not militant death tolls, civilian death tolls. I think that is what's going to set the course for what's about to happen. Again, I'm not in any way saying that, it's kind of one of those deals to where I'm very much an eye for an eye kind of person. So, I certainly don't have nothing negative to say about Israel wanting to defend itself and that, but I also can't speak out against the Palestinians for not wanting their land stolen. That's a bunch of bullshit nonsense that's going on over there. It's crazy. Anyway, so it's good that that's not going to stop. I know there's a lot of propaganda that says that money gets used for Hamas and all that. No, it does not. That money is watched very, very closely. It is not what's being used to fund Hamas. The United States is not funding all of this stuff. And the amount of money that the United States has given Iran that you hear everybody carrying on about is a drop in the bucket compared to what Iran has spent on their military and weapons systems. It's a drop in the bucket. So to think that what's came from the United States to Iran is what really strengthened them, no, that's a bunch of nonsense. I don't understand why folks feel the need to lie to make themselves feel better. I do not understand it. And this is a large part of society today. People will say anything to support their ideals. Insane. Alright. Let me have a few sips of coffee. Oh, exactly, man. I highly encourage folks, I know I said something yesterday, please go through your preps. Check over everything good. Please. Okay. I have no idea what was up with that. Been quite a bit of craziness around these parts today. The young lady that lives over in this little house, it's actually a house smaller than this, believe it or not. There's a house on this street, just diagonal from us, that's actually smaller than our house. And some young thing lives in there, and I'm pretty sure it's female. But I wouldn't put my life on it. It dresses female-ish, kinda, almost. I don't know. Pink, but doesn't really pull off. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, even from day one, she had her neighbor throwing a fit because she just like took her trash bags and took them over to the neighbor's trash cans and dumped them in. And so the neighbor went and pulled the trash bags out of her trash can, threw them on the ground next to the little bitty house, and that was comical. And that wasn't the first day, but it was in the first few days. And then it was crazy tonight. They had like 3 or 4 cars all pull up, and you thought there was a raid going on, right? I guess one of the friends had a dead battery or something. Now, why it took that many people, that many vehicles to come jumpstart a car is beyond me, but they had the whole damn alley lined with people to jumpstart a car. The same car, mind you, that earlier today went peeling out of there, started to fly down the street this way, locked up the wheel, and pulled up into the neighbor across the street's driveway, backed out real quick, threw it in drive, slammed on the gas, and went back into the alley. And then for about 5 minutes, all you could hear was her beating on the house. I have no idea. And just beating on the house, nobody letting her in. So then she just went out and sat in her car, and I guess that's why her battery's dead. I don't know. I do know that I've turned into a damn nosy old neighbor that, not nosy, but I do pay attention. I do watch what goes on. And, yeah, there you go. You could be right on that. It might have been a 48-volt system. Or maybe it was an electric car they were trying to jumpstart. Who knows? Oh, man. Messed up. Just messed up. Just make sure you're on top of all your stuff, folks. Please. I know there's a lot of back and forth between me and some of the creators here on YouTube. For good reason. I think for good reason. And I'm going to tell you straight up, don't be like them. Lots of talk. They ain't got much going on. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some of the creators absolutely have a whole lot going on. I don't have the utmost respect for Bear because, well, to be quite honest, I don't like people that mislead others, for one. I don't like people that slap the father in the face and do so claiming his name. I take issue with stuff like that. But at least he does stuff. And at least he's making the motions. He's making it look good, at least. I think there's a lot more going on there than what meets the eye, and I don't think it's all stuff that people would be real happy with if they knew. So, that's my thoughts, and I got damn good reason to have them, and even got some confirmation. So, I'm telling you, it's in your better interest not to throw monetary support at that in expectation of it going to something you think it's going to. I'll leave it at that. And believe me, the person that confirmed the information that they confirmed, keep your distance. Keep your distance. It's funny, there was a smaller YouTube channel here recently that came out, actually accused Magic Pepper of being a Fed. I don't think Magic Pepper's a Fed. I don't think Magic Pepper's smart enough to be a Fed. I just don't. However, I do think there's a couple Feds that are very well-known names in the YouTubes. One's been around for a while. The other one's in everybody's face all the time. And the second one's actually really easy to figure out. All you got to do is pay close attention. I've seen that one before, Leo. The generator charging the Tesla. Yep. And that stuff happens. I won't knock electric vehicles because they serve their purpose. I mean, as long as you're not trying to use them outside of that purpose, they're fine. And I always encourage technology. Always. Why wouldn't we want to? If we can move a little bit away from oil, we might be able to get a little towards something like hydrogen. The technology's there. We know how to do it. Everything is there to do it. It's just big oil won't let it happen. So if you're not happy with the thoughts of electric vehicles, then maybe push for hydrogen vehicles. Continuing with the same damn over a century-old technology is just so incredibly stupid, it's unreal. What it is we have a nostalgic love for the combustion engine, and rightfully so. I don't think the combustion engine should ever be outlawed. I don't think that it should ever be that you can't get gasoline and oil. I think those things should be here to the end of time. Why? Because I like those nostalgic, loud things as well. But it doesn't mean that I want to cut my nose off to spite my face. I embrace new technologies. Electric's not where it's at, where it needs to be, but that's because we don't have the storage technology that we need. So once we can improve that, then electric is much more viable. But right now, hydrogen would be, you couldn't ask for better. And I'm talking about hydrogen fuel cells. You couldn't ask for better. Clean, as efficient as it gets. I don't get why we're not doing this, other than big oil won't let it happen. We need to get away from that mindset. Well, the hydrogen engines are way more efficient. I actually was just watching a documentary about this last night and learned a lot of stuff that I didn't really realize, and the theory behind it. And I'm not going to be able to remember the names of the people that was involved, but they had talked a little bit about steam power. They talked about the combustion engines, and one of the things that they had said, and I never realized this, I didn't know this, but the name of the documentary was something about chaos. Hang on, I'll find it. I watched it on Netflix, and was it Netflix? I think it was Netflix. No, I was watching Amazon Prime last night. I was on Prime Chaos. Oops. Documentary. I could also go into my history and look. I watched it last night. No, I don't think it was The Secret Life of Chaos. Hang on. Amazon Prime History. Better put the word watch in there, or else it's going to give me a bunch of History Channel crap. Alright, watch history. Huh? I didn't watch that. When did it say I watched that? October 9th? Are you on drugs? That shit played after I fell asleep, yo. Okay, so it wasn't Prime. It was then Netflix. Netflix watch. I will get to my point momentarily. Hey, man. It's not my fault. Well, it's not my fault that was like the most popular game when I was growing up. I can't help it. I can't help any of my mental illness. Let's see. That's a fat jack. Anyway, let me get into me here. Get into me? That don't sound good. No, I'm not going to get intimate with myself. Let's see. Account, transfer profile. No, not sign out. Damn it, how do I see the... Go to your account page, open profile and parental controls. Viewing activity. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. It's not showing up. It's not showing up. Oh, if that ain't a bunch of horse doo-doo. I'm pretty sure I watched it on Prime. It was something about, was it not chaos? It was two words, the opposites for each other. Wait. No, it wasn't chaos. It was, disorder, something about order and disorder. Order and disorder, I think. I know, hang on. Let me move my phone out of the way. It's a really good documentary. That's why I'm trying to find it. Order, okay. Order and disorder. God. Is that not stupid? Simple? Order and Disorder was the name of the documentary, and it's about energy manipulation. Anyway, sorry it took me so long to get here, but it was saying in this documentary that the hotter that you get something, for instance, and then subsequently the cooler you get it, will make more efficiency. So in other words, like the hotter an engine will run, for example, the more efficient that it is. And they explain like how in comparison to a combustion engine, a jet engine is way more consistent, and that's because it runs at a higher temperature. So that's the thing with the hydrogen as well. Hydrogen runs at it makes the fuel mixture from gasoline look like nothing. The amount of hydrogen that it takes to be able to produce enough horsepower to do the same thing as a gasoline engine, it's minuscule. It just barely sips on it. So that's why I'm saying hydrogen, the reason I am not 100% behind hydrogen is because I want people to have an opportunity to be able to provide their own energy. That's my goal. I want people to be able to provide their own energy. Instead of having to rely on some type of a corporate structure and all that to take care of necessary things in life. I don't think that every necessary thing we have in life should be something that's used against us as a monetary manipulation tool. And that's what I see a lot of this as. I don't understand the world. I don't understand why it works the way it works. In my opinion, it all boils down to one thing: humans' greed. That's the only thing it boils down to. Humans' greed. Because none of it makes sense. We produce enough food to be able to feed the world many times over. Why are there starving people? Why is there tons and tons and tons of food thrown out because it's past expiration? Why are there hungry people? None of this makes sense to me. None of it makes sense to me. And you would think humanity would revolt against it. But they don't. I don't understand why. I don't know. I literally came out the womb a rebel. Oh, probably because I was born with a broken collarbone, but, you know. True story, yeah? And to go even further back on that true story, I was almost killed. Yeah, I kid you not. I was a tumor. My mom was told that she had a tumor. And I believe they had already started her on like pre-op medications and stuff like that. I don't know. I think she just had started them. And then I guess she went to go see, get another opinion. And that doctor said, that's not a tumor. You're pregnant. Surprise! So, let's see. Produce heat in a car. Can a methanol engine produce heat in a car? As in, like, to be able to heat her, you mean? Yeah. If you crank, I mean, you're going to have to crank up the compression anyway, if you're going to be running that. Yeah. Yeah. You just, you increase, you increase the compression and use a much stronger ignition. And you could most certainly get it to run the same temps as what gasoline engines run. So, just have to up the compression and ignition. So, you know, there's such an abundance of energy around us at all times right now. And you've got so much energy around you. And given the proper technology and equipment, you could actually harvest that energy. Now, it goes way beyond my intellect. There have been people that have touched upon it. I believe there's people that's been disappeared that figured out one way or another. That's one of the things and one of the reasons why I wanted to really, find this documentary for you. Let me show you what the IMDb page looks like for it. Right there. And I think it was Prime. Let me take a look. Usually I think they put it on here as to where it's at. I don't like go here for movies or nothing, so I figured they would just have a link somewhere to I'm looking. I don't know. I know I watched it. Wikipedia. Amazon. That's it. That's it. Yep, that's it. Watch again. So right now it's free with ads on Freebie. So if you got Amazon Prime, Order and Disorder, The Forces That Drive the Universe. It is an incredibly good documentary. And I mean, for me to say that about a documentary, it has got to be one hell of a bang-up documentary. And that absolutely qualifies. I highly recommend that one. No, dragsters need cooling, absolutely. um, I don't know, man. I've seen cooling systems on methanol race cars, on every single one of them. I've never not seen a cooling system on a race car, ever, unless it was air cooled. But I mean, that's still a cooling system. But I've never seen a combustion engine without a cooling system. Not once. And I was involved in racing. No. No. Because, I mean, you think methanol, well, hell, look at alcohol, you know? I mean, it's in top A fuel. They definitely have cooling systems. They have insane cooling systems. Yeah, I think hydrogen is the best option within our realm of capability right now. Yeah, that's what I was involved with, playing with the engines on top A fuel. Yep. They're a little bit mean. Oh, there's nothing like those engines, man. There is nothing like them. That pop. Oh. There's two sounds that could put me to sleep for the rest of my life. Either a top A fuel dragster just setting their island, or a radial aircraft engine setting their island. Either one is a lullaby to me. I'll have to take a peek, Fire Marshal Bill. I haven't kept up on that stuff in a while. It's been a long while since I've kept up on it. I'll see what they're up to. Yeah, they most certainly might have different systems. I know that I had heard something about well, we used to run a thicker substance, and we didn't just run antifreeze. But I've been hearing something about a gel or something, but I don't know anything on it. I haven't looked into it or whatever, but I heard something about them starting to run. I swear I heard like a closed loop system with a gel or something that was able to keep them cool enough. So I never looked into it though. Let's see. Yeah, there are people that actually have had cars running on water. So, even had a guy on That's Incredible that showed a station wagon. I think it was an LTD station wagon. And he most certainly had it running on water. I believe that was one of the guys that came up missing after a short time. But there have been a number of individuals that have cracked that code and disappeared one way or another. Whether they completely disappeared or whether they're filthy rich somewhere in the mountains. Either way. I personally think that the magic is found in the frequency that you put through your guess I could say anode and cathode, right? I think it's not just about the voltage. I think it's even more so about the frequency that you oscillate at. I think you could possibly oscillate at like an ultrasonic type of frequency and really super excite those hydrogen molecules and possibly cause a lot stronger amount or a lot increased amount of separation, if you will, going on. But I've never had the equipment to play with it. I've always wanted to, but I've never had the right equipment to be able to play with it, to be able to put different voltages at different frequencies and, switch between AC, DC, see what can be made from it. But I know it's been done. I believe the latest ones, that the latest guy that I heard did it, didn't actually use it to power a car. He used it to power a torch. And so he has he's never hit the market because now, from my understanding, that guy sold out. So he's still alive, but you won't hear him talk about his device. But it was a bona fide, it worked. And it was a water-powered cutting torch. Let's see. I reckon I could read through some headlines and get the fluck out of here. I said fluck. Let's see. Palestinian photojournalist killed in Hamas Israel conflict, says Watchdog. U.S. ramps up imports from Russia, says Census Bureau. Iran denies helping Hamas plot attack on Israel. Ukraine reveals failed attempts to capture Europe's largest nuclear plant. Foreign brands turn to Russian market. Russia and China urge renewal of Middle East peace talks. Turkish lira hits new all-time low. Israel was warned something big could happen, says AP. Oh, I covered that this morning. And that one. Israeli currency drops to 8-year low. Danish PM warns against Western war fatigue. Ukraine's nuclear admission a wake-up call to NATO, says Moscow. Israel announces complete siege of Gaza. Afghanistan earthquake, death toll nears 2,500, says media. Moscow blasts U.S. approach to Israel-Palestine violence. Russia's chief rabbi hospitalized after dancing accident. Uh-oh. Israeli-Palestinian conflict pushes oil prices higher. Hamas is using weapons given to Ukraine, says ex-Russian president. And apparently there is some truth to that. Pakistan plan to deport millions draws UN criticism. Baltic natural gas pipeline shut over suspected leak. EU suspends aid to Palestine. And we did the article that reversed that. Scotland's First Minister says relatives trapped in Gaza. Hamas threatens to kill hostages. I actually had that one up. They will not break us. How Israelis feel about new war with Hamas. It was just an article, like a little explainer article. Israeli military in control of Gaza border, says IDF. Hezbollah vows... Oh, I read that one. And that one. Kennedy announces independent run for U.S. president. Erdogan ready to mediate conflict between Israel and Palestine. And I read the others to you. So that would be that. Yeah, Fire Marshal Bill, let me show you what flames I got real quick. Doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo. Those are the flames like I'm talking about. But I really could use that at a higher resolution. And that's not a good enough resolution that I can get a really, really good super vector on it. Otherwise, I would. The other option is I think I might make my own flames. I might just say, oh, with it and make my own. I think I can make a pretty good set of flames now. I think. Pretty sure. If I use this, I would have to edit it anyway because I need it down here. I need it to go more yellow. I need it to go yellow, like in the tips of the flame here. Do you mind? God. I'm getting bitched at because I'm talking to you guys. I'm supposed to, I guess, do the show and get done so that she can have her gummies and go to bed. Trade you for 2 cats. 2 cats. Anyway. I'm catching hell from the dog over here. Well, I deserve it a little bit. I forgot her treat earlier when I let her in, right? I totally forgot her treat. And she probably stared at me for a good long time, and I assume I didn't notice. And so she went to go get Jen. And then Jen got in here, and she's underneath the table just glaring at me. And so Jen's like, did you forget to do something? And I look over, and she's like wishing death on me, wishing I get hit by a bus kind of stuff, you know? And oh, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. And I said, oh, I did forget her treat. And she knows exactly what we're talking about. Boy, she perked up. And that is just the most amazing dog I've ever seen in my entire life. Absolutely incredible. Anyway, I am going. Oh, you had to. Oh, yeah. Oh, and yeah, I bet that was sharp. What was the rest of it? What color was it? I don't know if your name's Jim or is it JJ. But what color was the rest of the truck? Because I'm working on an aircraft. I don't have a picture of it even remotely done. I don't know what picture this is. Pentagon. So this is me working in Substance Painter, and it's going to be blue. The base color is blue, and then I'm wanting to put those flames on it. So, yep, that's just me working in Substance Painter. But yeah. Yep. It's a TBM 850, and man, is that thing a dream to fly. And so I'm gonna do up a bunch of good paint jobs for it. So. Oh, indigo blue. Right on. All right, JJ. Yeah, dude, I bet that was sharp. I love the old style. I like anything retro, anything antique, you know, for the most part. Not anything, but close. Anyway, I am going to get out of here so I don't get disowned by my fur daughter. And God willing, and as long as she don't kill me and bury me tonight, I'll be back tomorrow. And I'll do this again. Man. Well, just like I say, keep working and getting ready. Don't freak out. Don't, never freak out. But definitely step up getting ready, without a doubt. Anyway, I am out of here. I hope you all have a good night. Thank you for coming. Hope to see you tomorrow night. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.